Billions of dollars intended for state education departments for the upcoming school year are in limbo. For Omaha, it means an immediate $1.7 million funding gap. Good evening, I'm Brian Mastery.
And I'm Erin Sullivan. Aftercare programs are expected to take a direct hit. First Alert 6's Sydney Babb is in the newsroom explaining how this could impact you and your children. Sydney?
Brian and Erin, this is an update to a story that I first did on Monday. Funding from the Federal Department of Education for states should have been announced yesterday, but wasn't. Robert Patterson from Kids Can Community Center tells me that this means that they're having to make tough choices about where to make cuts.
School is starting, and for Omaha, school is starting in 6 weeks from today. And we want to make sure after-school programs are ready to go. That might not be the case for a lot of after-school programs.
For programs like Kids Can Community Center, money received from the federal government goes towards salaries for teachers and employees. Without that funding, positions would likely have to be cut, impacting the number of kids served.
One of the first things that we may have to cut is either positions, sites may be consolidated, or we just may be able to serve less kids. And when we talk about serving less kids, that means more waiting lists. There was already waiting lists before, so those will only increase.
Patterson explains some districts, particularly in rural areas, are already limited to one program, so consolidation isn't an option.
When those funds are cut, that's it for that entire district, that there may be now after-school programs, and that's just, nobody wants to see that.
Right now, Patterson says they don't know how they will decide which cuts happen, but at this point, he doesn't believe there is much hope the money will come through anytime soon.
Today is the time to contact our elected officials and our senators and our Congress people. They need to know that after school is not only important to our families, it's important to our communities, it's important to our workforce. It's more than just educating and engaging kids. This is part of what we need as a community to thrive and survive.
In Omaha, I'm Sydney Babb, First Alert 6.
Local districts' professional development and English learner services could also face cuts. First Alert 6 will continue to provide updates as this affects our local schools.